Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today we'll try to take a section from Antya Leela, chapter 3. And this section is section about Haridas Thakur. So the prasanga is that Haridas Thakur delivered the prostitute in which place? Benapur, yes. And then from there he travels to another place, and the place name is Chandapur. And Saraswati Thakur says this place was renamed as Krishnapur later. So Haridas Thakur came to that place, Chandapur, and there he stayed at a house of a person called Balram Acharya. Now these two names will be known to all of you. Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. Who are they? Raghunath Das Goswami's father and uncle. Yes. So Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. And these two personalities were the governmental treasurers of that particular section of the country. And their priest was this personality, Balram Acharya. So that's the link. So Haridas Thakur stayed in the house of Balram Acharya, and Balram Acharya is the priest of Govardhan and Hiranya Majumdar. And at that time, our Raghunath Das Goswami is Raghu, small boy. And this personality, Raghu, would be going and hearing from Haridas Thakur. How do you think Raghunath Das Goswami became such a great Vairagi? Whenever we go to Radhakund to take darshan of Raghunath Das Goswami Samadhi, it gives goosebumps when we remember his renunciation. How can someone eat rotten rice? You remove the upper portion which is rotten and just take the solid part inside. How can someone think of doing that? And the entire day chanting. And that to such an extent that Krishna and Radharani are coming to protect Raghunath Das Goswami. Just by the association of Srila Haridas Thakur. So when you get Sangha like this, of people who are renunciants, then there is no option. We also become like that. And Raghu was so, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Das at that time, was so fortunate that he would go, to see Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur. Naturally, you will see whenever sannyasis also come, I have seen, they'll shower their special Marzium kids. Have you all noticed? Especially small kids who sit in front, they'll garland them, they'll talk to them. So Haridas Thakur also, he gave a lot of time to this personality, Raghunath Das. He showered his mercy. See, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is saying, naturally Haridas Thakur was merciful towards him. And because of the merciful benediction of this Vaishnava, he later attained the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. If at all we have some hope in this life where we have taken birth in the age of Kali, with this Sharira, which is not different than Yatana Sharira of hell, yes. If we have some hope, that the hope is the mercy of Vaishnavas, who are intense in their bhakti, who are pure devotees, who have just the hankering, or they have attained Krishna, or who have hankering to attain Krishna. It is their mercy, which can actually deliver us. Other than that, what hopes we have? No hopes. In the age of Kali, staying in AECS layout, what hopes? Yes. What hopes? And this Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar, they were also not ordinary people. They were also devotees. Every day, there will be various discourses on Shastra that will take place in these personalities' house. Now, it's very important to note that the overall development of a devotee depends on a lot of factors. First and foremost is his own desire to advance in bhakti, no doubt about that. And along with that, the devotee should be fortunate enough to get such an association of fired up devotees, which will keep that devotee warm. I'm not using the word burn. Yes. To keep the devotee warm in this cold kalmasha of Kali Yuga. So this is very, very important. And that second one is that devotee should have some nice connection with some senior devotee who is elevated in their consciousness. And third is that senior devotee should have merciful, affection on this devotee who is practicing. So when all these things fall in place, then there is some hope for the devotee to advance in devotional service. And here we see that Raghunath Das Goswami had a good setup. A good setup around where they had discourses at home, so people were good around. And then there were personalities like Balram Acharya who could understand Haridas Thakur is not an ordinary person. And he invited that please come to my place. And Haridas Thakur is staying in the house of Balram Acharya, and Balram Acharya is serving him in such a way that Haridas Thakur shouldn't feel that this place is not good. He's serving him very nicely so that Haridas Thakur stays in his house. Very, 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 very attached. Very, very attached this person was. So one day, Balram Acharya, the priest of Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar, in his house Haridas Thakur was staying. So he requested Haridas Thakur that we have nice discourses which happens in the house of Hiranya and Govardhan. Why don't you please come and join? There are many scholars who come there, there are many devotees who come there, and nice discourses take place. You please come and grace the occasion. And Haridas Thakur agreed. There were so many respectable people in that assembly. So many great brahmanas were sitting, so many scholars were sitting. And when Haridas Thakur entered that place, these two personalities, Govardhan and Hiranya, they were very happy. And all the people there, they had heard about Haridas Thakur. And what did they hear about Haridas Thakur? How many rounds was he chanting? 192 rounds. 3 lakh names of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everyone knew that he is not an ordinary person. For sure. And when he entered, everyone stood up. And when it comes to Hiranya and Govardhan, they fell at the feet of Haridas Thakur. And all the devotees along with these two, they started glorifying Haridas Thakur. And here, our Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is saying, how were they glorifying? They were glorifying as if they had 5 mouths. When someone glorifies other devotee a lot, so he's glorifying with 5 mouths. They're glorifying. And Hiranya and Govardhan were thinking, oh, we are so fortunate. And they were extremely happy. Extremely happy. This is the way Vaishnava is received in the assembly. Yes. Not like, फिर से आ गया ये. Therefore, the sum and substance or the solution to all the offenses which are listed down in the Shastra is going deep in devotional service. Because offenses will happen when we are still on a material platform. When we are looking at a Vaishnava on the material platform, his nature is like this. He is so rude. Anytime he just speaks like this only. So much he speaks. What sort of person he is. All the time he keeps speaking about this and that except Krishna. Whatever. But then, when our vision becomes spiritualized, when we grow higher and higher in Krishna consciousness, so when we are on the spiritual platform, then we can see Vaishnavas properly. We can see them as, oh, he's chanting 16 rounds every day. Now you might say, what is so great about that? Everyone does here. Now it is great. In this hall, when people are sitting, maybe everyone might be chanting 16 rounds, but go out on the street. When you distribute books, whom do you meet? 16 rounders. So many lakhs of people, crores of people all around the world are not chanting. And there are only very, very few people, a very small percentage of people who claim themselves to be Vaishnavas, who are trying, struggling hard, to become nice, pure Vaishnavas. They are the ones who are chanting 16 rounds. Such a big thing. So such vision will come with some time, as we advance in Krishna consciousness. Then this point, when we look at a Vaishnava, we'll naturally become happy. I've heard from devotees in the foreign countries. Now there, it's very difficult at times, to meet Indian also. And usme, in a remote place, if you see a Vaishnava with dhoti kurta tilak, how much happy that person will feel. How much happy the person will feel. One of my counseling, he had he was shifted to a different place in India where there were no devotees. And then when he came back after a good number of months, then his behavior towards every Vaishnava was so amazing. With so much humility, he would greet devotees. And those people whom he would not like also, he would go and talk to them nicely. I'm talking about devotee association. And I said, what happened? And Prabhuji, I learned my lessons. I'm realized now. I'm realized about Vaishnava association. And here we see Hiranya and Govardhan, they're receiving Haridas Thakur with so much of awe and reverence, and they're extremely happy. Extremely happy. One is to smile just on the face, doing some muscle exercise, the facial muscle exercise. But then the actual smile should be from the heart. And who can make out who is smiling from the heart and who is smiling from the face? Who? Only we. Who else can make out? That is this only muscle stretching exercise, or is it really a smile from the heart? Only we can make out. And along with us, Lord can also make out. Now in that assembly, everyone started speaking about this. And what was the talk all about? The talk was that how Haridas Thakur chants 3 lakh times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's too much, no? 3 lakh. Somehow finish 16 rounds and keep the needle on your side and feel so nice, done. I don't know about you all, at least for me, that's the case. But when someone is chanting 192 rounds, it's not a joke. Like Indra Prabhu, he would chant 16 rounds. And when he would chant 16 rounds, it would be very intense. And when he comes to the last round, the last Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, last Krishna. That was the feeling of Indra Prabhu. Last Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram, last Ram. Hare, last Hare. How can it be last? No! And he'll chant another 16 rounds. And another. And like that he would do 80 rounds a day. Apart from his good number of hours of kirtan, loud kirtan, 80 rounds a day. And Kartik and all next level. How many rounds he would chant, he only knows. So, these devotees, they are actually stamping, saying, you people are not relishing, but we are telling you how much relishment is there in this try. Hanker, try for it and see how much taste is there in this. They are all setting example for us. Our Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu was telling that when he is not well, at that time he chants only 32. At that time 32. That's Usyada nahi hota mujhse. Like that he was telling. With so much of humility. So in this way, there's a discussion that began. Now when there is a Bhakta Shiromani in the assembly and his, what do you call it as? The best thing about that devotee is chanting. So what else will the discussion all about? The very intense discussion started there about the glories of the holy names. At that time, some of the scholars said, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is freed from the reactions of all sinful life. At that time, Srila Haridas Thakur, he says, Haridasa kahena namera ei dui phala nai, namera phala Krishna pade prema upajay. So Haridas Thakur is saying that liberation, these 2 benedictions, what are 2 benedictions that he is talking about? One is liberation, and second is extinction of the reactions of sinful life. You think these 2 are not results of chanting? These 2 are not results of chanting. Then what is the result of chanting? One awakens his ecstatic love for the lotus feet of Krishna. This is actually the result of chanting. And then Haridas Thakur went on to quote various different shlokas. And one of the shlokas that he says, when a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, what happens to him? He is agitated in happiness, and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, he cries, becomes agitated and chants just like a madman, not caring for outsiders. Sometimes when I hear these descriptions, it feels very scary. Kaisa hota hoga wo? And I don't know, when devotees hear all this, ऐसा तो नहीं बनना है कुछ. It's okay. It's okay. But the fact is, there's a different bliss altogether at this platform of happiness. We cannot imagine what madness is there at that platform of relishing Krishna consciousness. And therefore he says, liberation and extinction of the sinful life are two concomitant byproducts of chanting the holy name of the Lord. And then he gives the example. And what is the example that he gives? He says, when the sun rises early in the morning, the entire night there is darkness. Early in the morning when the sun rises, what happens? It dissipates all the darkness that is there in the world. And here he is comparing that darkness to deep like the ocean. Thick, very, very dark. Even that darkness is dissipated. And he is saying, so the holy name of the Lord, if chanted once, many times devotees say this, Guruji, it was said if you chant once, you will get this. 16 rounds, I don't know how many times I've chanted now. But there's a condition, by the way. Here Haridas Thakur says, if chanted once without offenses, what happens? Now that darkness is compared to the reactions of sinful life. So that darkness compared to reaction of sinful life, and that sun is compared to offenseless chanting of the holy names. So what happens? As the darkness is removed when the sun rises, similarly, when someone chants once offenselessly, the person is freed from all the sinful reactions of the past. Now, Haridas Thakur with so much humility, he chants this verse because it has got analogy and then a little bit of explanation. Then he says, O learned scholars, O Brahmanas, you all are great. Can you please explain the meaning of this verse? Namacharya Haridas Thakur, he is with so much of humility, he is telling the assembly there, can you please explain this verse? What do you think the assembly members did? The assembly members there, they started saying that you can explain better, you please explain. You are Namacharya. You are chanting 3 lakh. We just chant 16 rounds. You please explain. And then he went on to explain. He said, with the first glimpse of sunlight, fear of thieves, ghosts and demons immediately disappear. So ignorance or darkness, they give shelter to thieves, ghosts and demons. And when sun is actually visible, everything is manifest and everyone begins performing his religious activities and regulative duties. So what happened? All these 3 ran away. Thieves, ghosts and demons. They ran away as soon as sun rose. He says, similarly, the first hint that offenseless chanting of the Lord's holy name is awakened dissipates, please mind these words, very important. Dissipates what? Reactions of sinful life immediately. Now, one thing that we have to understand is, when it comes to reactions of sinful life, they are there in different degrees and different types. Aprarabdham phalam papam kutam bijam phalotmukham. So what are the different types of reactions which are there? Aprarabdha phalam papam, aprarabdha. Kuta, bija and phalotmukha or prarabdha. So aprarabdha, prarabdha, kuta and bija. These are the 4 types which are there. Now aprarabdha is those reactions which are not yet manifest. They are waiting for the right time to blast. I call it as the karma bomb. Everything is going well. And suddenly there's a karma bomb that blasts and the person is clueless. पता नहीं सब कुछ तो ठीक चल रहा था अचानक से क्या हो गया? कुछ नहीं हुआ, bomb blast हुआ बस और कुछ नहीं. Aprarabdha. No, it's not yet manifest. It is there in the stock. Some of it which is manifested, phalotmukha. Already the phala we are getting in this life. That is prarabdha. Simple prarabdha that we can understand. Sitting here in this hall is the body that we have. Yes. This is prarabdha. You cannot change this body. One devotee was asking, plastic surgery to hota na Prabhuji. Okay, how much can you change in your body? But sukha and dukkha is fixed. And this body will give that sukha and dukkha based on the situation and circumstance. भले बाहर का body change कर ले, but अंदर का body तो same रहेगा ना. And now devotees are practicing from quite some time. You will agree with this. More than the trouble given by the gross body, it's the trouble of the subtle body. Correct? The subtle body is not going to change. That's part of prarabdha that is there. And then various other things when it comes to prarabdha, the way the person speaks. Now say a person who doesn't have a good voice. वो कितना भी कुछ भी कर ले, nothing will happen to his voice. It's going to remain like that only. He cannot compete with the singers there. He can be his own singer in the bathroom. He can sing and be happy. But then he cannot be. That's prarabdha. No, he cannot. And there are people who speak so eloquently and they just get words from here and there and they present it so nicely, even simple concepts. No, yes, they can. That is their kala, that is there. Therefore, many times, we make this point in the class that we might be preachers. We might be putting forward the points very nicely, presenting things very nicely, but one thing we have to remember is it is just a skill that has come in the form because of prarabdha. Nothing great about it. The greatness is how much deep we are in devotional service and how many lives we are able to touch and transform. That is the greatness. How well we speak, what great things we do doesn't matter, how nicely we sing. If we are great singers, very amazing singers, that Mahamantra which I am chanting, hearing that is someone crying in ecstasy, rolling on the ground. When personalities like Indra Prabhu and others, they would sing, people would be in ecstasy, complete ecstasy. Even now when we hear the recordings, they are so wonderful, so very wonderful. So in this way, important thing is we shouldn't pay so much attention to the prarabdha that we have, be it good or bad. Only thing that we can do is utilize the service of Krishna. Now, Kutam Bijam is something that you have to understand a bit deeply. Kutam means sinful tendencies. Chupa rehta hai. It is hidden inside, sinful tendencies. I think there was COVID time, when someone was asking me, Roji, if the kids, they pray to Krishna, please remove COVID. So Krishna will remove, they're so innocent. Yeah, innocent with Kutam inside. Yes. Innocent with Kutam inside. Therefore, I think Prabhupada writes in some place that with time, that innocence changes because the Kutam is there, sinful tendency is there. Just it's a matter of trigger that Kutam will get transformed into Bijam. And Bijam means desire, sinful desire. And when that sinful desire comes, then that sinful desire will also manifest in the form of sinful action. And we'll have tough time after that. Because we are stuck in that cycle of Papa. Prarabdha, Kuta, Bija, go on and on and on and on and on. So here, this particular shloka, it is saying, in fact, the shloka which I quoted also, what is that? Aprarabdham phalam papam kutam bijam phalokmukam. And the last line says, Vishnu bhaktir ratatmanaha. So when someone does bhakti of the Lord, and especially chanting the holy names, that's what we're discussing here, all these different entities that we just discussed, the four of them, now they are like grains or seeds. They are burnt. And if you have some knowledge of this, when the seeds are burnt and if you sow them in the ground, they will not germinate. They will not grow. The seeds are burnt. This is what happens. And here, Haridas Thakur is saying that when someone chants once offenselessly, all these different reactions of past sinful activity, they are all burnt. They are all removed. Once offenseless chanting. And to put it in the form of three types of chanting, this is the Nama Abhas stage. The first stage is called as Nam Aparad. Aparad Yukta Nam, where we chant Nam with Aparad. Yes. 10 offenses. Like morning we say, no? Did we commit 10 offenses? And then we chant. These are 10 offenses that today I'll commit. First, second, third. And the last one, inattentive while being chanting. And it described the mother of all the offenses is inattentiveness. And then we take a vow early in the morning. Today I'll be inattentive while I chant. And we fulfill that vow the entire day. It's a very, very important thing. And this stage Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as a stage of Kleshagani. All the klesha is burnt. Now, when the klesha is burnt, all auspiciousness automatically comes. The quality of Shubhada also manifests. Therefore, it's very, very important to note that those devotees whose sinful reactions are burnt, they are the ones who can do bhakti with full determination. Full determination. They carry on and on and on and on. So in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna is making this point. Esham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavratah. The ones who are freed from all the sinful reactions, they are the ones who can do drida bhakti, drida nischay. Tira bhakti with drida nischay. They can do it. Intense devotional service with full determination. Therefore, if not the greed for Krishna Prem, at least there should be a greed that I should reach this stage at least. At least this stage where I can be free from these simple reactions and then become drida in my nischay to practice devotional service. And here Haridas Thakur very, very wonderfully, he is making this point. When one chants offenselessly, one awakens to service and ecstatic love at the lotus feet of Krishna. The first one is dissipates all that sinful reactions of sinful life, and it illuminates the entire place. Right? One is remove the darkness, another is illumination. What is that illumination that he's talking about? Awakening that mood of service and ecstatic love for Krishna. That's the second thing, illumination. And therefore, he makes the point, liberation is insignificant result. Haridas Thakur is saying, liberation is insignificant result from a glimpse of awakening of offenseless chanting of the holy name. Now, when it comes to the Mayavadi sannyasis or the Jnanis who are there, they aspire for liberation. Their only goal of life is mukti. And when they hear such statement, they have a heart attack. What are you talking about? And onto that, Srila Bilvamangal Thakur, he adds more mirchi masala to that wound that is there. He says, Mukti Devi is standing at my door and she is saying, please accept me. Thank me very much. I cannot entertain her. Can you imagine these acharyas? Mukti Devi is standing at my door that please accept me. But then I am busy doing my devotional service. So these personalities who are in Jnana Marga, all these Mayavadis, they cannot digest this fact. They cannot digest this fact just by chanting the holy names. And here, Haridas Thakur quotes another shloka from 6th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. If I'm not wrong, 3rd chapter, Ajamil's pastime. Where Ajamil has seen the war between the two, and the verbal fight between the Vishnu Dutas, the 4 Vishnu Dutas and 3 Yamadutas. Sometimes, devotees say, वो easy था अजामिल के लिए, वो देखा ना सामने fighting हो रहा था तो serious हो गया. कोई नहीं, you also try. Looking at those 3 Yamadutas only will die. Just imagine Ajamil's case is lying on the bed. One side you have Vishnu Dutas, another side Yamadutas, and both of them, they are arguing with each other. Iska kya hoga? And one is looking at Vishnu Dutas, one is looking at Yamadutas. You can imagine that entire situation. After Vishnu Dutas, they freed Ajamil from Yamadutas and they warned Yamadutas, if you do anything to him, we'll kill you. Yamadutas ran away from there to Yamra's abode to finally sign the resignation. So at that time, Vishnu Dutas were there and Ajamil, looking at them, was completely enamored by the beauty. He describes the beauty very, very wonderfully. And then he was about to talk something to them, and at that time, Vishnu Dutas left from there. You are not qualified, we cannot talk to you. Left. And Ajamil on that day, he decided that I will do bhakti with drida nischay. Now I will not commit any sinful activities. When Jagai and Badhai, when they were delivered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vrindavan Thakur writes in Chaitanya Bhagavat, which was called as Chaitanya Mangal before. Then it was renamed as Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, फिर से करोगे? And at that time Jagai and Badhai are saying, "Aar nahi re baap." और नहीं करेंगे बस. Will not repeat this again. So this is the mood of a devotee, and here Ajamili decided नहीं अभी और नहीं. At that time, he decides, now I'll just practice intense devotional service. Now, one thing is very clear. See, in case of Ajamil, he got mercy of Vishnudutas. We are also not less. We have received mercy of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Whatever Ajamil got through Vishnudutas, all that we have got through Srila Prabhupada in the book called Srimad Bhagavatam. All that is described very nicely. Abhi, the person who is very less intelligent, he will say, nahi, first-hand experience karna hai mujhe. And go ahead. But then Ajamil was fortunate, he had some bhakti bhav because he did some bhakti in his childhood. Apna to aisa kuch hai nahi. Ajamil did Shaligram worship in his childhood. And Prabhupada writes, when he chanted Narayan, he remembered Narayan Shaligram. Abhi hum to ya goli khele. What will we remember? What will we remember? So he was a fortunate soul, he could remember Narayan Shaligram Shiva. Why? I don't know what we will remember. Therefore, the first class learner is the one who hears and learns. And Prabhupada has given everything to hear in his books. We just hear and learn. I should become intense. I shouldn't wait for that time. पहले मजा मार लो, उसके बाद वेट करो, फिर आएंगे यमदूतास, फिर विष्णुदूतास, and then something good will happen. Then I'll go to Haridwar or Vrindavan or Mayapur or Jagannath Puri. Then I'll chant attentively, 16 rounds only. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And towards the end, the last shloka of that chapter, very nice shloka. It says, while dying, Ajamil chanted the holy name of the Lord, intending to call his son Narayan. This is also a very nice thing. He called Narayan, that is his son. Why did Vishnudutas come? And the Acharyas say, Narayan told Vishnudutas. Vishnu told Vishnudutas, go and save him. But the Vishnudutas said, no, he is calling his son Narayan. And Narayan is saying, there is only one Narayan, that is me, go and save him. It's only me, there is no other Narayan that is there in this material world or in this entire creation. Go and save him. That's how Vishnudutas went there. And here it is said, nevertheless he attained the spiritual world. Many times there is a misconception that people have. Newcomers when they come, Ajamil to ek baar naam chant kiya aur chala gaya Bhagavad Dham. Nahi, there was some gap between the two. He chanted once, he got realization, then he went to Haridwar, then he did intense devotional service, and after good number of years, then again the four Vishnudutas came, and then he went back home. So there was a time, there was a gap between the two. ऐसा नहीं था, ऐसे था वो. Yes. So here it is said, then what then to speak of those who chant the holy name with faith and reverence? It's a very important question that is asked in Srimad Bhagavatam. He chanted Narayan once. That too he was calling out his son. That was Sanketyam. He was indicating. He was not actually chanting the holy name of the Lord with intensity. Sanketyam, he was indicating, to his son Narayan. But he got delivered. So the question is asked in Bhagavatam, what to talk about those devotees? Every day you get up early in the morning, on beat, chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What will happen to them? For sure they will attain highest destination. That's the answer that Bhagavatam is giving in a rhetorical sense. So in this way, Haridas Thakur established this point. And he said, liberation which is unacceptable for a pure devotee is always offered by Krishna without any difficulty. And to add on to this point, our Kapil Dev is telling Devahuti, Salokya Sashti Sarupya Samipyaikatvam Apyuta Diyamanam Na Grinanti Vinamat Sevana Jana. So he's saying that there are 5 types of liberation. Salokya means what? Same planet. Salokya. Sashti, same opulence as that of the Lord. Samipya, close to the Lord. Sarupya, same form of the Lord. Salokya, no, merging in the Lord. Sayujya, merging in the Lord. Yes. So these are the 5, which are there. When it comes to impersonal liberation, it's Sayujya, but Vaishnava liberation are other 4. But Vaishnavas don't want that also. And here it is said, very clearly that my devotees do not want these 5 liberations if there is no service that is there in Vaikuntha. And what is the goal of life? The goal of life is to serve Krishna with loving devotional mood. That is the goal of life. Therefore, devotees, they are eager to get that eternal service of the Lord. See, when we say Jayom Vishnupad Paramams, Jayom Vishnupad Nitya Leela Pravishtacharya. So what did the Acharya do? Acharya didn't merge in Krishna. He entered Nitya Leela Pravishtha. He entered Nitya Leela of the Lord for what? Enjoying? He enters Nitya Leela to assist in Nitya Leela of Radha and Krishna. So the goal of life is to assist their lordships to attain that eternal service of the Lord in pure, loving, devotional mode. Therefore we say the goal of life is Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem doesn't mean that we chant and then we roll on the ground and cry and jump and do all. That's all there. But the main thing is, with that love, what do? We serve the Lord. And therefore devotees are not interested in all this. Now when all this intense discussion was going on, there was one person who got up there holding the mic. And his name was Gopal Chakravarti. Now Gopal Chakravarti was the chief tax collector of Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar. Because they were treasurers. Hiranya and Govardhan was treasurers. So they had Gopal Chakravarti to go and collect taxes. And he would collect 12 lakh coins, 12 lakh gold coins. That was the tax collection that he was doing. And he was a very, very handsome looking person. It is described especially about his nose. It was very nice, raised nose, very handsome nose. And his fingers, were like the champaka flower. Very, very nice, very handsome, very good looking. And not just good looking. Along with good looks, he was a great scholar also. Now when his entire talk was going on, this person who was scholar, he couldn't take it. Because he was just a dry logician. No bhakti. He knew Shastra, but no bhakti, only dry logic. So he got up, held the mic and started speaking to everyone. O assembly of learned scholars, just hear the conclusion of this emotional devotee. Here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writing. Just hear this emotional devotee. After many millions upon millions of births, when one is complete in absolute knowledge, one still may not attain liberation. Yet this man says that one may attain it simply by the awakening of a glimpse of the holy name. In fact, when we also speak, going back to God, this life and all that, yes, without doing much bhakti, people will be laughing at us. Celestial beings will be laughing at us. They're going low. In one life, back home. Nothing doing. Not doing any much bhakti and then they want to go back home. In fact, I also heard that other Sampradaya people, they also laugh at this point. How will you do one life? No one life and all. Kramamukti, slowly, you go back home. One life after another, after many, many lifetimes, you go back home. Therefore, if today, with so much of confidence, we ISKCON devotees talk about going back home, back to God in this very life, it's only because of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. It's only because of him. There's no other way. It's only because of him. He is that personality who made this point. Read my books, distribute my books. I know all the doors of Goloka. Back door entry I'll give you. His front door to bhaga denge aap log. Back door entry I'll give. And then when this person is actually what he's speaking is correct. After many, many millions of births, Bahunam Janmanam Mante Jnanavan. So these Jnanis, after many, many millions of births, they get this opportunity to get liberated. To break the cycle of birth and death. But then when Haridas Thakur is saying just by the glimpse of the holy name, byproduct is liberation, he's not able to digest. Just by chanting. Just by chanting holy name, this will be done. Then Haridas Thakur is saying, why are you doubtful? The revealed scriptures say that one can attain liberation simply by a glimpse of offenseless chanting of the holy name. What is your problem? This is called as faith of the Shastra. This faith we can see in our Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, faith, unflinching faith in the scriptures is something that is very, very important in the life for devotee. Because now when the Shastra is saying that, okay, just by the glimpse of chanting the holy names, one can attain liberation. And then when we are saying, let me try. I don't think that there sounds so great thing in this. How is it possible? How is it possible? No, it is possible. Haridas Thakur is saying, why are you doubtful? What is your problem? Why are you doubtful? Similarly, Srila Prabhupada, now when any question is asked, who is God? Krishna? No doubt. Krishna. And then he would give his address also, Golok Vrindavan, he'll give parents' name, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai. And the scientist or the philosopher who has come to talk to Prabhupada, they are blind. What is this old man speaking? Confidence. Now he's there in a foreign country, he's giving a class and he's saying, in Vrindavan there is a mountain called Govardhan and that is God. With full confidence. And by his confidence, people were convinced also who were sitting there. They were convinced to such an extent that they wanted to go and take darshan of Govardhan. This is the mood of a preacher. Unflinching faith in scriptures. Therefore, there are three levels of adhikaris. Kanishta adhikari, Madhyam adhikari, and Uttam adhikari. In Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami nicely explains this. Kanishta adhikari does not have both. It does not have knowledge from Shastra or faith. Faith in the words of Shastra. Faith in the process of devotional service. Madhyam adhikari, he has got faith in the Shastric injunction. He has knowledge about the Shastra, but he cannot convince others properly. Uttam adhikari is the one who has got faith in the Shastra, knowledge from the Shastra, and he can convince anyone and everyone. That is Uttam adhikari. So in this way, we understand that when we have unflinching faith in scriptures, we actually climb the ladder of devotional service. And as the faith increases, we go higher and higher and higher and finally reach the stage of prema. And therefore, Haridas Thakur casually is asking, what is the problem? Why are you so doubtful? Shastras are talking about this. Simple. And he says, for a devotee who enjoys the transcendental bliss of devotional service, liberation is most insignificant. Therefore, pure devotees never desire to achieve liberation. He's looking at Gopal Chakravarti and making all these statements. Already he's angry. And on that he is saying, the one who enjoys transcendental bliss, liberation is insignificant. Now just imagine what would be happening to Gopal Chakravarti. And then he makes a point. My dear Lord, O Master of the Universe, this is a shloka that he's quoting. Since I have directly seen you, my transcendental bliss has taken the shape of great ocean. Being situated in that ocean, I now realize all other so-called happiness, including even Brahmananda, that is achieving Brahman, liberation, to be like the water contained the hoofprint of a calf. Now you all will not feel anything about this. The ones who are Brahmavadis, the ones who are hankering to attain Brahman, you won't speak all this, they will faint or they'll commit suicide in front of you. They are aspiring for something, and then you are saying that, oh, that is just water filled in the hoofprint of a calf. I don't understand what will they feel. And here this person, Gopal Chakravarti, was of that category, and he said, hoofprint of a calf? What are you talking about? And then he said, if one is not liberated by Namabhas, he made a very strong statement. If one is not liberated by Namabhas, then you, Haridas Thakur, may be certain that I shall cut off your nose. अभी कोई जरूरत नहीं थी ऐसा डायलॉग बाजी करने की. And Gopal Chakravarti, full passion, dry logician, he said, if by Namabhas your person doesn't get liberated, I will cut off your nose. And Haridas Thakur, full faith in Shastra, he is relishing the holy name, with full faith and confidence, he said, I accept your challenge. If by Namabhas liberation is not available, certainly, what you cut, I shall cut off my own nose. This is called as confidence of devotee. I don't know if Gopal Chakravarti's confidence got shook when he heard this, but then this was told. But when all the discussion was going on, all the members of the assembly, they went crazy. They all started yelling at this Gopal Chakravarti. And Hiranya and Govardhan started saying, Arey, yaar, what's wrong with this person? They pulled him out. And here our Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is saying that Balram Acharya, he chastised Gopal Chakravarti, you foolish, dry logician, what do you know about devotional service? And then Govardhan and Hiranya Majumdar, they both kicked him out of the house. And they said, this is your, what do you call it as? This is your paper, get lost. Yes, you are laid off from the job. You are laid off. And at that time, the devotee said, "You have insulted Haridas Thakur. Dangers are awaiting you. Don't expect any auspiciousness. You have committed a great Vaishnav aparadh. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord. Who else can propagate the holy name of the Lord much greater than that of Namachari Haridas Thakur? And that person was blasphemed like this. Batao ab iska kya hoga? And like this, all of them, they shouted at him, kicked him out of that assembly, and everyone fell at the feet of Haridas Thakur, especially Govardhan and Hiranya. They were thinking he was under us and he has committed offense at your lotus feet. Please forgive him and please forgive us also. It's a fact. If the subordinate does some offense, even the master will get the benefit of that. He has to face the repercussions. But look at what Haridas Thakur says. This is the difference between the elevated devotee and a neophyte devotee. Now, if a neophyte devotee would have been there, I would have told us, "Pehle job se nikalo." ऐसे कोई बात करता है? But look at what Haridas Thakur is saying. Haridas Thakur is saying, none of you are at fault. Indeed, even this ignorant so-called Brahmana is not at fault. क्या करे? He is accustomed to dry speculation and logic. इसलिए उसको पता नहीं. It's okay. It's okay. And here Prabhupada writes, and also Haridas Thakur is saying, अभी आप लोग सब घर जाओ, टेंशन मत लो. May Lord Krishna bestow his blessings upon all of you. See, he's been insulted, he's blasphemed. But his heart is still showering mercy and blessings on all of them. And he's saying, don't be sorry because of my being insulted. It's okay. Hiranya and Govardhan, no, it's okay. Prabhupada, in this particular shloka, he writes the purport, he says, Trinadapi sunichena taroriva saishnuna mamanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. This sadahari kirtaniya, this person, who is Kirtaniya Sadahari, Ramacharya Haridas Thakur. How come he is Kirtaniya Sadahari? Because he is tolerant and he is humble. In this particular purport, Prabhupada is saying that. And we can see his humility. He is insulted, he is not taking it to his heart. He is tolerant, he is not blaspheming in return. He is not cursing also. Mera na katega, tera na katega, mera hai, tera. Nothing. He is just taking it. He was taking it. So now, when all this entire thing happened, but by the way, we have to focus on this aspect of tolerance and humility, which has to be cultivated. Obviously, the divine quality which comes out of practice of bhakti, that is divine humility and divine tolerance, that will come later when we advance in devotional service. But now at this stage, so that we don't commit offenses, we have to cultivate this quality of humility and tolerance. So this is the sadhana that we have to do. Not easy at all. But we are fortunate that we have devotees around who will help us to become humble and tolerant. Very nice. So we have devotees like that. So it helps. So Gopal Chakravarti was told, "You're not allowed to this place again." वो निकाल दिया जॉब से. There's no question of he coming back to that place. In next 3 days, this Brahmana, Gopal Chakravarti, was attacked by leprosy and his raised beautiful nose melted. His nose was cut. And his champaka flower-like fingers melted. And he struggled of this leprosy. And everyone there, they saw this situation of Gopal Chakravarti and they understood, 3 दिन पहले इसने जो किया था, उसका reaction है ये. They're able to understand very easily. They are seeing Gopal Chakravarti, at the same time they're glorifying Haridas Thakur. Oh, Haridas Thakur Mahashay. Such a pure devotee he is. But here comes the question. Haridas Thakur to forgive him? What is the problem? He forgave him, leprosy क्यों हो गया इसको? And here it is said, very nice shloka. यद्यापि हरिदास विप्रेर दोषनालैल तथापि ईश्वर तारे फल भुंजाइल. Haridas Thakur forgave, but Krishna didn't forgive. Krishna ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? Wait, I'll teach him a lesson. To set an example, for all the devotees in future, he set an example. And what is Bhakta Swabhava and what is Ishvara Swabhava? This is the last shloka, which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is ending this entire prasanga with. Therefore, I said, this is a Bengali sweet which gives a kick. And this is the kick here. Bhakta Swabhava Agya Dosha Shama Kare Krishna Swabhava Bhakta Ninda Sahita Na Pare. What is Bhakta Swabhava? Agya Dosha Shama Kare. He was ignorant. So Bhakta, he forgives. So here there is a corollary also. That person who does not forgive is not a Bhakta. How is that? So that devotee doesn't, or that person doesn't forgive, is not a devotee. What is Bhakta Swabhava? What is the nature of a devotee? He forgives and he forgets. But then Krishna Swabhava. What is Krishna Swabhava? Bhakta Ninda Sahita Na Pare. He cannot tolerate the blasphemy or ninda of the devotee. He cannot. So in this way, we have to understand one thing very clearly. That offense at the lotus feet of a devotee is told as the mad elephant offense. So we should try our best as much as possible to avoid this. Our Kamal Lochan Prabhu, when he was here, we had a brahmachari class, so we all brahmacharis were there. We were asking this question that about various brahmachari aspects. Why brahmacharis leave ashram and this and that. So he said there is one thing why brahmacharis leave ashram. And he made this point and he said because of Vaishnava Aparadha. That is there. And especially Vaishnava Aparadha to mothers. Mothers means Matajis, females. And second is mothers means those Shiksha Gurus who have brought the devotee up in Krishna consciousness. So he made this point. He is obviously very experienced in this entire, is in a ISKCON experience brahmacharya ashrama. So he made this very strong point. So Vaishnava Aparadha is something that one has to be very careful of. At least one can try not to offend one's superiors. First thing, basic. Next is as we advance, not to offend the equals and not to offend the juniors. So in this way, with time, we have to develop these qualities of being alert of not offending devotees. And I've seen senior devotees when they speak some harsh words, even to their juniors, they ask forgiveness. Yes. They ask forgiveness. Because they're very, very careful about this point. I want to attain Krishna, pray. And this committing of offense and all that is going to be a big blunder. So I don't want to. As a service, even when spiritual master, when he chastises the disciple, spiritual master does it with the mood of service to correct him, not to prove his ego or something like that. He doesn't take it to his heart and he blasphemes or chastises that devotee. Therefore, it's very, very important that we be careful of this entire thing called as Vaishnava Aparadha. It's a big obstacle in the life of a devotee. Big obstacle. So these are the different things that we learn, from this particular prasanga. And therefore, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it teaches philosophy, it helps one to go to the next level of devotional service, and at the same time, it teaches etiquettes and warns us about various different high-level pointers, which will block our advancement in Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Shri Haridas Thakur ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.